Huge round of applause. Please help me welcome Toastmaster Noman. Assalamu alaikum and how are you all? Fine. So today I'll be sharing my thoughts on evaluation. How many of you are thinking to participate in the evaluation contest? Please raise your hands. Very few. Alright. So last year I participated in two contests. One was evaluation, the other one was Urdu speech contest. In evaluation, because this is my one way of working, is that I put all my best whenever I opt for anything. Because I believe that in Pakistan, if you want to get a competitive edge, the best thing is to put little hard work, because nobody's doing that. So if you are the only person in the room putting little extra effort, you'll have the competitive edge. So this is one of the secrets that I have revealed recently to a lot of people, and this is a secret that I came to know. Even at your workplace, even in competitions, even in anywhere, give a little extra effort. Know the science, know the tips and tricks, nitty-gritty, and you will be way above every other person. Now, coming back to the evaluation. So today we will try to understand how do we evaluate a person. Now, when I participated in the evaluation contest, before that I was really fond of speaking. I really like to craft a beautiful idea in my mind and then rehearse that how will I present it to my audience and then presenting it in front of people. That's what my passion is. But when I started learning about the evaluation part, it is even more interesting. You see a person trying to convey a message, and you, by sitting there, are trying to understand, dissect the whole message, that what this person is trying to achieve. So right now, me as a speaker here, I'm trying to communicate something. And you as an evaluator can evaluate that how this person is actually trying to communicate the whole message. Why he started off with a story, why he started off talking about comparative edge, blah, blah, blah. So that is how you kind of dissect the speaker, that how actually and what actually he is doing in order to communicate a message. And it is one of the most fascinating things to do. And I got very fascinated from it, that from now onwards, I evaluate every other person. Because see, everybody is trying to say something. Everybody is trying to build a narrative. Be it a politician, be it a scientist, be it an analyst on the television, be it your boss, be it your subordinate who has come to you and trying to justify why he was late today in the office. Everybody is trying to communicate something. Everybody is trying to share an idea, build a narrative. And if you are a good evaluator, you can dissect that where that person is coming from and how this person is doing it. So, and you become better at it. For example, recently I became really interested in serial killers. I've seen a lot of documentaries of different serial killers when they were after committing some major crimes, which humanly are not possible to even imagine. But when they committed that crime and they got caught, and then they were sharing why they did what they did. And when I listened to them and I tried to dissect that, how can a human mind even think of doing it? And it was really fascinating. I would recommend all of you to do that too. There are a lot of documentaries on YouTube and Netflix. But coming back to this evaluation part. So now, for all of you, even if you are not participating in the evaluation contest, it is going to be very effective, I believe, because it has helped me and I believe it will help you too. Where does evaluation start from, if I may ask you? Evaluation शुरू कहाँ से होती है? पहला step क्या होता है? पहली stage क्या होती है? Observation. And observation से भी पहले, what do?
Come to the Toastmasters.
Alright.
Ask the Toastmaster what does he want as in the evaluation, before evaluating that person, what that person wants from you to evaluate.
Alright. Anyone else? So where does evaluation start from? Evaluation starts from listening. Okay? So evaluation starts from listening. Now there are two ways to listen. The one way is that the speaker is here and you are in a contest. So what happens is that we usually think that we are in a contest and I need to listen to this speech and build a beautiful evaluation and then present it. Now, while doing so, we basically we don't put the essence of evaluation into the evaluation, because we are only doing it for the sake of presenting as an evaluator in the competition. So the first and basic thing is that listen to the speaker as if I mentioned earlier that he's trying to communicate an idea. He is your friend. Imagine that he is your friend. He is competing in a speech competition. He came to you and he asks for evaluation. That Noman, please tell me how my speech is. So now you genuinely want to listen to that person. You genuinely want to see that, how he is communicating, whether his message is getting across or not, what are the hurdles, what is the body language that he uses. So now you are very genuine to help the other person. But in competitions, we are more focused on giving a, very right and very political evaluation instead of being very genuine with the speaker. And most of the time, we even don't remember the name of the speaker. In most of the cases. So we forget the name of the speaker because we are so much focused on presenting a beautiful evaluation instead of giving a very genuine feedback. So number one is listen as if you are listening to a friend who has came to you and who has asked for evaluation. So that is where the whole story starts. The second stage is writing. So now in evaluation contest, what happens is you are given a paper. On that paper, you have to write during that evaluation. So the speaker will be here presenting a speech. You will be sitting there. You will have a paper and pen. You will start writing something. Then after the speech, you will be given how much time? 5 minutes. 5 minutes to review whatever you have written on the page, and then you will hand it over to the contest chair. And when you will be called upon by the contest chair, that is when they'll give you that paper back. So meanwhile, you won't have that piece of paper. You will only have it during the speech and after the speech for 5 minutes. So now, the critical thing is, what we do is, once we find something really interesting in the speech, we start to write it down and we miss something that the speaker was communicating. So the best way is, in your page, whatever will be given to you, you make different segments. Maybe speech, जिस तरह से segments मैं बनाता हूँ मैं आपके साथ share करूँगा. If that works for you, well and good. You can make your own classification, because it becomes very easy for you to write everything down. Because the speaker is communicating, you have to write, but meanwhile you cannot miss a single word. Because if you miss one sentence, it is only a 7-minute speech. So if you miss a single statement, you won't get the message. Most of the times, a lot of evaluators are कहते हैं यार मुझे समझ नहीं है speaker ने बोला क्या, लेकिन मैंने कुछ ना कुछ evaluation दे दी. Okay, I didn't get the message that he wanted to communicate, but I have given the evaluation. The problem is because we are now focused on writing everything down. We miss a lot of things that the speaker is saying. So the best practice is that you make a classification on your page. And you write everything down, little bits of it, कि उसको बाद में देखने से आपको reflect हो जाए, याद आ जाए कि मैंने ये लिखा क्या था. आप उसमें बहुत details नहीं लिखते. You only write the keywords that you pick from the speech, and then you reflect on it, and then you present on the evaluation. So how do we classify things? In the start, ये वाला segment जो है, I literally do this lining on the page. यहाँ पे you write start. Then you have another segment where you write strengths. Then we have this column where we write room of improvements. इनके against we write recommendations. And then we write summation, or we can call it summary, and then ending. Now I'll dissect every part. Now when you come on the stage, now when you have this segment, you know exactly मैंने कहाँ पे क्या लिखना है. Suddenly the speaker said something that you really liked. What you'll do is, आप उसे क्या करेंगे, उसको इस वाले portion में वो note अपना लिखेंगे. If there is something that you need, that speaker needs to improve, you will quickly write it in this segment. सॉरी हेयर स्ट्रेंथ्स यहाँ पे लिखनी है, रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट यहाँ पे लिखना है, समरी में आप बाद में जब आपको 5 मिनट मिलते हैं तब आप समेशन बनाते हैं और एंडिंग और स्टार्ट आप बाद में करते हैं, लेकिन जो स्ट्रेंथ्स और रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट है वो साथ साथ आप बीच में बिट्स जो है वो लिखते रहेंगे ताकि आपको बाद में याद आ जाए कि मैंने क्या करना। So starting from the start कैसे करना है? Every speaker has a core message, a central idea that he wants to communicate. As an evaluator, you come and you start with that concept that he tried to share. For example, this example. Toastmaster Irfan talked about his first day experience of Toastmaster. So for example, that was the speech I'm going to evaluate. So I'll come on the stage and I'll say, thank you very much, Toastmaster Irfan, for taking us all back to the day when we came to Toastmaster, when it was our first day. Now, simple उन्हीं के आइडिया में से वन लाइनर स्टार्ट निकाल के उनको थैंक्स करके उनको एक्नॉलेज करके जो भी वो सेंट्रल आइडिया कम्युनिकेट करना चाहते थे, एक्नॉलेज कैसे होता है? थैंक्स बोल के। सो आप स्पीकर को थैंक यू करते हैं उसके सेंट्रल आइडिया के ऊपर और अपना स्टार्ट लेते हैं। स्टार्ट शुड नॉट बी मोर देन 2 sentences because again we have very limited time. Time is the whole game in evaluation. So you'll have very limited time. You won't spend a lot of time. Okay, today I will be evaluating Toastmaster Irfan. Such a wonderful speech it was, and blah blah blah. So you only will use 1 or 2 sentences in order to have a very powerful start, and the start should be related to the core central idea, the core message of that whole speech. Right? Now we'll move to the strengths. The good practice is that you use 3 strengths. 3 strengths आपने निकालनी है उस स्पीकर की, सिर्फ 3 ही आप बता सकते हैं, उससे ज्यादा मेरे ख्याल में पॉसिबल नहीं है, लेकिन if you are very good in articulating your thoughts and concising it into such a limited time, you can do that. But 3 strengths are the ideal to give in an evaluation. Now strengths कैसे ढूंढनी है? अब बेसिक या बहुत ही typical किस्म की strengths don't mention that because see there are 10 or 15 or 8 or 7 evaluators coming on the stage, and if judge is constantly hearing the same thing over and over again, it loses its impact. When you say something over and over and over and over again, it loses its impact. So try to pick those strengths which you think जो बाकी के लोग, मैंने कहा पाकिस्तानी बैठे होंगे सारे तो वो इतना गौर से नहीं देख रहे होंगे, सो आपने वो चीजें देखनी है जो शायद बाकी लोग नहीं देख रहे. सो पिक दैट स्ट्रेंथ व्हिच इज वेरी यूनिक. Pick something that is very unique. Don't say that it was a wonderful start. He started off with a question and such a good way to start by starting with a story. Everybody will say that. And you will see that everybody, even though I'm saying it, then again everybody will say that. I can guarantee you. So be a person who does not say those things. Try to find something unique in that person. Try to see that what effort, extra effort that the speaker is putting, which I can acknowledge, I can see. ठीक है. और जब भी स्ट्रेंथ मेंशन करनी है, उस स्ट्रेंथ के साथ उसका इम्पैक्ट लाजमी बताना है. अब इसका क्या मतलब है? फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई से that the speaker had a very wonderful fluctuation of voice, and when he was talking about the sad incident where he lowered his voice, I could really feel the pain in his voice, and I could really feel what he was feeling at that time. Now see, you have also mentioned the strength, but along with that, you have mentioned that how this strength has impacted me as an audience. So whenever you put a strength, you share the impact that it had on you as an audience. So 3 strengths along with the impact. Now comes the room of improvement part. Now this is very sensitive. Alright, so you cannot say that the negative part. You cannot say that, it was, the body language was not good. No. So this is a very sensitive part. You say it in a way that sounds really encouraging. वो कैसे करना है आप सारों को पता है. आप लोग काफी यहाँ पे कर चुके हैं. तो ठीक है, सैंडविच अप्रोच होती है. So I won't go there.
I want for the newcomers you should repeat.
All right, because I've been shown the red signal.
No, that already crossed.
Achha, now I can.
Yeah, we are now.
Alright.
This is actually very nice.
All right. So now room of improvement. Now room of improvement is very sensitive. Now imagine the severity of it. Okay, a person is being evaluated over and over again by so many evaluators in front of so many people. ठीक है, तो ये बहुत ही वनरेबल चीज होती है कि आपकी evaluation हो रही है पूरे माशरे के सामने. ठीक है, तो वहां पे कोई इस तरह की बात आपने नहीं करनी जिससे वो बंदा इनसिक्योर हो जाए या वो बंदा डिस्करेज हो जाए. सो डोंट से एनी वर्ड्स दैट विल मेक हिम डिस्करेज एज अ स्पीकर, बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट अ टोस्टमास्टर्स स्पिरिट. सो चूज दोज रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट्स which will not make him insecure, rather it will be an eye opener for him as a speaker. ठीक है, कोई इस तरह की बात आपने नहीं करनी जो आपको लगे कि उसकी इनसिक्योरिटी हो सकती है और उससे उसकी इनसिक्योरिटी जो है वो इग्नाइट होगी. Only talk about those room of improvements that you can talk about in front of audience. अगर बहुत ही कोई जेन्युइन जोर की आपको आ रही है रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट, तो उसको बाद में अकेले में बोलें कि सर मैंने आपके साथ बड़ी जो है हार्ट टू हार्ट डिस्कशन करनी है एंड आई वांट टू शेयर समथिंग. ठीक है, वो वन ऑन वन में होता है. लेकिन जब आप ऑडियंस के सामने है आप कभी भी कर ही नहीं सकते. मतलब आप बेशक के मैं तो बड़ा आई एम रियली जेन्युइन, आई वांट टू हेल्प दिस पर्सन एंड आई वांट हिम टू नो कि दिस इज हिज प्रॉब्लम, बट it will have a negative impact. So whenever you share a room of improvement, जैसे मैंने कहा स्ट्रेंथ के साथ क्या शेयर करना होता है, प्लीज टेल मी. इम्पैक्ट. रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट के साथ शेयर करनी होती है रिकमेंडेशन. You always share a recommendation along with the room of improvement. How we do that? For example, if I say that although you are you have a very good posture, you were standing tall, you had very good gestures, but if you could have used the stage little bit more, it could have made more impact on the audience. अब ये आपने रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट से बताइए बड़े खूबसूरत तरीके से. ऑल्दो तुम बहुत अच्छे लग रहे थे, बहुत अच्छे जेस्चर्स तुम्हारे, हाँ अगर थोड़ी सी मूवमेंट होती पर्पसफुली राइट एंड लेफ्ट, तो इट कुड हैव मेड द मैसेज मोर इम्पैक्टफुल. एंड हाउ यू कैन डू दैट, यू कैन स्टैंड इन फ्रंट ऑफ अ मिरर. अब आपने रिकमेंडेशन उसे एक्शन प्लान भी देना है. हाउ यू कैन डू दैट इज कि यू कैन स्टैंड इन फ्रंट ऑफ अ मिरर एंड you can have different segments of your speech. You can talk about one segment here, the second segment here, and the third segment here. Okay, so give him some recommendation on the room of improvement that you are mentioning. All right. Then we come to the summary part. Summary बहुत important है. अगर ये सारे काम आप कर लेंगे, आप बहुत बेहतर होंगे बाकी सबसे, क्योंकि ये सारे पार्ट करना बहुत मुश्किल होता है इतने कम टाइम के अंदर. एंड पे आती है सबमिशन. सबमिशन में आप क्या करते हैं, आप इन तीनों स्ट्रेंथ्स और रिकमेंडेशन को फौरन से सम कर देते हैं. ऑल इन ऑल यू हैड अ वेरी एक्सीलेंट बॉडी लैंग्वेज, ग्रेट टोन ऑफ वॉइस. अब ये सारी मैं टिपिकल बातें कर रहा हूँ, ये बातें आपने नहीं करनी. ठीक है, ये सारी टिपिकल बातें जो वहां पे सारे कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि मैं जनरल बात अभी कर रहा हूँ. सो you had a very good body language, very good voice of tone, and the message was really impactful. Where you need to work on is this and that. जो आपने रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट निकाली. सो इन पांचों चीजों को आप दोबारा से मेंशन करते हैं सबमिशन के अंदर, और फिर आते हैं एंडिंग की तरफ. एंडिंग जो है, ये मेरा एक जो तरीका है वो ये है कि आप एंडिंग्स में कोई ऐसी बात करें जो उसकी पूरी स्पीच में से ही कुछ ना कुछ बात है, उसकी स्पीच में से कोई बात निकालें और एनकरेजिंग और बहुत ही पॉजिटिव नोट के ऊपर एंडिंग करें. इसके मुख्तलिफ तरीके हो सकते हैं, मैं आपको कोई तरीका बताना नहीं चाहता, नहीं तो आप सामने वही रख लेना. ठीक है, तो इसके डिफरेंट तरीके क्या बताएं
ना, हमारे काम आएगा.
फॉर एग्जाम्पल, नहीं उसमें ये होता है कि एक नुकसान ये होता है कि फिर सारे जो है ना वो स्क्रिप्टेड बात करते हैं.
स्क्रिप्टेड करेंगे तो उनका कसूर होगा.
ऑलराइट, let's take a good example. For example, जिस तरह से मेरी एक स्पीच में ना एक बंदे ने बात की थी कि अपनी दादी की बात की थी. उसकी जो ग्रैंड मदर थी, शी डाइड, और उसके साथ उसका बड़ा अच्छा रिलेशनशिप था और वो चाहती थी कि वो बहुत अच्छा स्पीकर बने, लेकिन वो बड़ा इंट्रोवर्ट था. उसकी दादी उसे बड़ा एनकरेज करती थी कि वो थोड़ा सा आउटस्पोकन हो, ब्ला ब्ला. बट शी डाइड एंड देन आफ्टर दैट शी हैड दिस थिंग, द पर्सन हैड दिस थिंग इन माइंड कि मैं जो है वो उनका ख्वाब पूरा करूँ और ये वो. तो मैंने जो एंडिंग की थी, मैंने एंडिंग में कहा था कि एंड फॉर एग्जाम्पल, क्या नाम है जी आपका? Abbas. For example, Abbas was the speaker and I said at the end, all in all submission मैंने की, Mr. Abbas, Toastmaster Abbas, I am really sure that your grandmother up in the heavens will be looking at you and will be so proud of you because of the performance that you have given today. Thank you very much. ठीक है? So उसी की स्पीच में से कोई एक बात निकालो. एक में किसी ने कोई पोम सुनाई थी अपने बचपन की, तो मैंने उसी पोम को दोबारा रिपीट किया था एंडिंग के ऊपर और उससे कोई रिलेटेड कोई पॉजिटिव बात की. So आप उसी की स्पीच में से ना ये जब आप करेंगे तो क्योंकि याद रखिएगा जो एंड होता है ना वो लास्ट इंप्रेशन इज द लास्टिंग इंप्रेशन, इट लास्ट्स फॉर लॉन्ग। कोई बंदा कितनी लंबी तकरीर करके चला जाए, वो जो आखिर में कुछ करेगा वो देर तक याद रहेगा। तो जजेस जो बैठे हुए हैं, अगर आखिर में आप कोई आहा मोमेंट उन्हें दे दें जिसमें दे फील आहा, क्योंकि बाकी लोग नहीं कर रहे होंगे, तो अगर उनको ये आहा मोमेंट आ गया आखिर के ऊपर एक लाइन, आई हैव सेड इट इन वन सेंटेंस, नॉट मोर देन दैट, ठीक है। अपनी बात को जितना कंसाइज कर सकते हैं उतना कंसाइज करेंगे। टोस्टमास्टर्स इज ऑल अबाउट कंसाइजिंग योर मैसेज, व्हिच आई एम नॉट डूइंग राइट नाउ। So it should be one sentence at the end that should be really inspiring, really uplifting for the speaker, and it should be something from the speech. So that is all from my side. I hope that I have covered. All right.
Okay, question number one.
That's number one.
We have very short time. As you know, after once the speech is over, we have only 5 minutes to compile all this. You said you take note of a poem or something like that. This speaker is one. You said we should think of something uniquely good too. You said we should build on some improvement as well. You said that we should prepare an impact of each and every strength as well. So, how are we going to do that in so less time? How do you do it specifically? Like,
परफेक्ट। सो मैंने कहा कि आपने बहुत ज्यादा लिखना भी नहीं है, साथ में क्या ना बहुत ज्यादा चीजें भी नोट करनी है। अब इसका तरीका ये है कि पहले अगर आपने सेगमेंटिंग कर ली है, उसमें आपको पता है कि मैंने कौन सी चीज कहाँ पे किस किस वक्त डालनी है। सो आपने अब जैसे उसने पोइम सुनाई होगी तो मैंने क्या किया होगा, मैंने कहा होगा बहुत जबरदस्त चीज है इसको एंड में डालने के लिए, तो मैंने उसी वक्त उठा के उसे एंड वाले सेक्शन में लिख लिया पोम ओनली, या मैंने एंड पे लिख लिया ग्रैंड मदर इज समथिंग दैट वाज वेरी क्लोज टू हिज हार्ट, तो मैंने यहाँ पे सिर्फ लिख लिया होगा ग्रैंड मदर, नॉट अ होल स्टोरी। मुझे पता उसने ग्रैंड मदर के बारे में क्या बात की, क्योंकि मैं बहुत अटेंटिव था, सुन रहा था, ठीक है, मैं लिखने में मसरूफ नहीं था। सो मैंने उसको यहाँ पे डाल लिया। अब पीछे सिर्फ 2 चीजें रह गई, ये भी मैंने बाद में करना है, समेशन में भी मैंने बाद में करनी है, जो मुझे 5 मिनट मिलेंगे। तो मेरे पास जो बाकी चीजें नोट करने वाला सेगमेंट है वो सिर्फ स्ट्रेंथ्स और रूम ऑफ इम्प्रूवमेंट है। रिकमेंडेशन भी और स्ट्रेंथ्स के अगेंस्ट इम्पैक्ट भी मैं बाद में 5 मिनट जो मुझे मिलेंगे उसमें लिख रहा हूँ, स्पीच के दौरान नहीं लिख रहा हूँ, ठीक है। यू गेट माई पॉइंट। जो रिकमेंडेशन है और जो मैंने कहा था स्ट्रेंथ के अगेंस्ट इम्पैक्ट लिखने, वो आपको जब बाद में 5 मिनट मिलते हैं स्पीच ओवर होने के बाद, उस टाइम पे आप लिख रहे होते हैं। लेकिन ड्यूरिंग द प्रेजेंटेशन यू आर ओनली राइटिंग बिट्स फ्रॉम हिज स्पीच, द स्ट्रेंथ्स एंड वीकनेसेस, राइट एज मेनी एज यू कैन, बट बाद में आप कहें कि मैं ये वाली 3 यूज करूंगा और ये वाली 2 वीकनेस यूज करूंगा, राइट।
One question from my side. Though I was side by side in the competition with you, but I was facing this difficulty continuously even now. I jot down the points the same way like you do. But when I go on stage and re-elaborate those points in front of people, it takes time. But initially when I was jotting down those points, I was thinking that I will manage this, all these things within time. But when I go on stage, I almost kill my time within recommendation and strengths.
Alright.
And there's no time for summary. So how to manage time and tackle your material?
Alright. So I have also ये मैंने लिखा है, इसमें आखिर में निकाल लिखा है, पढ़े मुझे आखिर में
Time is the key.
टाइम इज द की। सो कॉम्पिटिशन में ये मैंने इससे बात करनी थी लेकिन क्योंकि टाइम ओवर हो गया था, तो टाइम इज द की। इवैल्यूएशन कॉन्टेस्ट में सिर्फ जो बंदा टाइम मैनेज कर लेगा वो बंदा शेर है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे लोग या तो स्ट्रेंथ में रुक जाएंगे या वीकनेस में रुक जाएंगे, समेशन नहीं करेंगे। समेशन के नंबर हैं जो जज के सामने बैलेट पड़ा हुआ है, उसमें समरी के नंबर लिखे हुए उसके अगेंस्ट। सो इफ यू नॉट डूइंग दैट यू आर ऑलरेडी लूजिंग अ लॉट ऑफ नंबर्स। नाउ हाउ डू यू मैनेज टाइम? डोंट बिकम सेल्फिश। There are a lot of things that you want to say during evaluation. Don't say those. And stick with the core formula that I have mentioned here. Don't give any extra information which is a fancy information and you want to say just for the sake of saying it. You will see a lot of evaluators taking a lot of time in the start. They are trying to build something. I don't know what they are trying to build. They want to look fancy. They want to be, extraordinary. Don't do that. Stick with this and you will be automatically extraordinary. आप बेशक नोट कर लीजिएगा, जो बंदा टाइम में नहीं आ रहा मतलब वो थोड़ी एक्स्ट्रा इंफॉर्मेशन दे रहा है जो रेलेवेंट ही नहीं है स्पीच के। एंड बीइंग अ जज आई सी एग्जैक्टली दैट दिस इज रेलेवेंट एंड दिस इज नॉट रेलेवेंट। This is not a speech competition, right? This is not a speech competition, this is evaluation competition, where you have to evaluate a speech, dissect a speech. So stick with this formula, and it is very much possible to do within time. How do you practice it? You take a speech, World Championship की जो speeches हैं, and try to evaluate them on a piece of paper, take 5 minutes and then present it, bishak in front of somebody or all alone in your room. Because I always say that the best audience is your mirror and the best venue is your room, where you are all alone. Visualize that there is a huge audience sitting in front of me and I'm standing there presenting. I have done this I gave a lot of sessions in my room, I gave a lot of interviews in my room that had happened already and will happen in the future. I gave my national championship winning award speech in my room before it happened. And a lot of other speeches I delivered in my room. आप भी करते होंगे शायद, but अगर नहीं करते तो करना शुरू करते हैं, because mirror is the best audience where you can see yourself. You know, how do I do this? How do I use my face? How do I use my hands? It tells you a lot.